when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning.
Welcome, everybody. It is Mo Crosby. I'm back to do my spoiler review for DC's The Batman. Okay. If you haven't seen my spoiler-free review, it's on the channel. I'll post a link down in the comment section. But if you have, where you know how I feel about the movie, you know my thoughts on the movie. So, like, I'm 100% like in love with the movie. I think it sits okay. After seeing it another time or a couple more times, I am saying it sits somewhere at the top of all Batman movies ever made. I'm not necessarily telling you my spot. We might do a ranking show later for it, or we might do a big spoiler review. So I'm gonna keep this one really short, but I'm going to get into the movie the way I didn't get into it on the spoiler-free review. This movie is about growth. This is year 2 Batman, but it is 100% about the growth of the character, the growth of the characters, because most of the characters, if not all the characters in this movie, all the main characters in this movie, experience some sort of growth, some sort of change from where we meet them to where they are. So let's start with Batman. Let's start with Batman because we don't meet Bruce Wayne, we meet Batman. When we meet Batman, we see him using fear to inspire, we see him using fear to inspire, to do what he does. There's no inspiration. This is not the hero of Gotham. This is fear Batman. This is, oh my God, we see the light in the sky. Like opening scene, you see the light in the sky, and all the criminals, not some, all the criminals are scared shitless. They're all looking at the shadows. He's using the shadows perfectly. Like, this is one of the movies where the shadows, as Batman, the shadows is being used as a tool. This is not Ninja Batman though, because when we first meet the Batman, he's, like I said in the spoiler-free review, you hear the Batman before you see the Batman. You don't necessarily see him, but you hear footsteps, and it's scary. He wants to use fear to do what he does. And by the time the movie ends, we see a different Batman. We even see the Ninja Batman, the Batman who, when he wants to go in the club the first time, when he wants to go to I almost called the 40-40 club, the 44 below, whatever. The first time he goes to the club, he shows his face to the guards, like, do you know who I am, Batman? And he fights his way to go talk to Penguin. The next time he goes to the club, or by the end of the movie when he goes to the club, he uses the ninja stuff. He goes in, knocks on the door, they open the door, who's there? And then boom, gone. He's in the building and he's causing chaos. Again, and then at that point, you don't even hear him. It's just Batman in your face before you know what happens, and you're down for the count. I think this is the best movie in terms of showing you the growth of the character. Yes, this movie is long, and it's really about fear, because when we see the Penguin, when we meet the Riddler, he uses fear, and then he and Batman have a conversation, and he goes. And then I think that's when it's, changes Batman's mind or inspires him to look at things differently, is that I have been doing this one way and I have inspired the wrong kind of people because I want to protect my city. I've inspired the wrong kind of people. So let me change my approach, is what I feel like, by the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie, that's the metamorphosis Batman goes through. And I 100% enjoyed that part of the storytelling. I enjoyed the fact that the Riddler thinks he is Batman's ally in combat, and trying to combat the forces of evil. In this movie, there's corrupt politicians, corrupt police officers, and and the mob, Don Falcone, who we meet in the movie, who later dies. That's crazy. Um, Maroni takes the fall for a crime. Falcone becomes the crime boss and really just the mover and shaker of Gotham. Politics, police, everyone goes through him. And it's, in my opinion, one of the better storylines. Again, we've seen Hush, or if you've seen the animated movie Hush, or you've seen, if you've played the Telltale game, the 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 season one of the Telltale game, I believe this is kind of also borrowing from that storyline a little bit. But the most important thing is this is year two Batman, so it's the second year of Batman. He's still growing. He's still trying to figure out who he is as Batman. But also the biggest change, or what could be the biggest change in the movie, comes in the form of Bruce Wayne. When we first meet Bruce Wayne, he doesn't care about anything. He doesn't care about um, Wayne Enterprises. You see him and Alfred have an argument in the beginning of the movie. You know, you have to care about Wayne Enterprises. You have to care about, these things, because at the end of the day, this is what gives you the ability to do what you do. So you do have to care about that. Um, Obviously, he doesn't. And by the by, there's a funeral in the movie, the funeral for the mayor, and then the new mayor comes up to him and says to him, "Hey, your parents were so involved in philanthropy, at least, until your dad made the mistake he made. But what about you? What are you doing? Like, what are you doing to help Gotham?" And this is where I think the wheels start to turn for Bruce, and Batman is like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'm only attacking corruption on one, or, I'm attacking corruption. I'm trying to fight crime on one front. Maybe I should, give my energy to another front and become Bruce Wayne so I can be able to do the Batman thing. And I 100% think that that's what we're going to see in the sequel, if we get a sequel, or when we do get a sequel. I don't know about if. I know we're getting a sequel, and I'm excited to see that. Um, Honestly, uh, let me see what else. What else can I talk about? Catwoman. So Bat and Cat thing, one of the better storylines in the movie. I love them together. Again, I said in the spoiler-free review, I love Bat and Cat together. Any storyline with Bat and Cat together, I love it. I'm here for it. So give me more of that. And so we get that in this movie a lot. We get Selena Kyle and Bruce Wayne. We get Selena Kyle and Batman in this movie a lot. So I'm like, okay, I'm here for it. Um, and then there's something that Selena says that I believe if there are other reviewers out there, other people have taken issue with, where she's like, okay, so I don't care if the Penguin, I mean, maybe he is right in killing like the elite, you know, and a lot of people took issue with it. I personally love that line because it does make sense for Catwoman, Selena Kyle, who's always been poor, disenfranchised. Again, she doesn't come from wealth. She doesn't come from money. Is there any version of Catwoman that comes from money? No, 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 not that I can think of. So she is at the bottom, and she's like, whatever. If he's killing rich people, rich white people, I don't care. And I love that line because it encapsulates the character herself, who's kind of like a Robin Hood, or just a robber, a cat burglar who steals from the rich, like the very rich, because they can afford it and they can replace it, whatever. So that is who the character is. So I'm not mad at that line. That is something I feel like Catwoman would say in the comic books anyway. So I don't care. But no, her relationship with Batman, her relationship with Bruce. Well, she doesn't have a relationship with Bruce yet, but her relationship with Batman in this movie, again, I want more of it, and I'm hoping that at some point in the franchise we get more of that, so we can move into like a Bruce Selena kind of thing. I would love to see that, but for now, I'm okay with Cat and Bat. And as far as Cat and Bat can go, I want them to keep going with that. There is a cameo at the end of the movie. It's not a stinger. It's not end credit scene, but there is a cameo. It supposedly is the Joker. We didn't see a face. We heard a laugh. We didn't. He and the Riddler are literally cellmates or cell buddies, or two cell apart. He tells the Riddler, "Hey, you did what you did. You inspired people again." Because if you watch the movie, or when you do watch the movie, There is a part of the movie where Batman is fending off Riddler copycats who are trying to attack the mayor, and he goes, and then Gordon asks one of them, "Who are you?" And he turns, he looks up, and he says, "I am vengeance." Again, this is where he's inspiring the wrong kind of people. And so, if you go back to the movie at some point, there is an escalation of things. It's like, okay, this happens, and it escalates. What's the next thing? Like, how can things continue to move forward? And I believe that stinger is a show of how the things can move forward. That cameo is like, okay, look, this is what Gotham just endured right now. And Catwoman says to Batman at one point, the city's never going to change. Batman says, I believe it has to. I'm going to keep fighting for it. And she's like, you're fighting a losing battle. You fast forward to, or you rewind to that stinger, or that cameo where he says, the fun is just beginning, and they laugh. Again, there's always somebody going to be worse than the worst person in Gotham. Gotham has to keep, like, Gotham can survive, but Gotham has always created the worst of the worst. And so we're going to, at some point, meet the Joker, meet a Joker in this universe. And I am excited for that. I do, however, kind of not want to see it immediately. I personally want a Court of Owls, and I believe a Court of Owls, given the, given the hold on. Given the way this movie went, given the storyline this movie used, I believe Court of Owls really fits in this world, in this universe. Or because we're getting HBO Max spin-offs, I believe you can do Court of Owls on the TV side of things and move it into the movies at some point. Use a way to move it into the movies. And I'm 100% here for it. I think the better part of this movie, to me, was showing that Batman grew into becoming the hero of Gotham. There's a part at the end of the movie where he's carrying this young lady to a helicopter lift. He's gonna place her on the gurney, and he drops her, and he goes to like go help other people, and she grabs his arm like, please. I think that is one of the more powerful scenes of the movie. There's scenes like that scattered around this movie, but there's another scene just like that where after the mayhem and the city floods and everything, and Batman sees that there are people trapped, and he also sees that there's this electrical wiring that could fall into the water and potentially kill people and the new mayor. He sacrifices himself, not knowing, one, how deep the water is, not knowing if he will survive, but he sacrifices himself for his people, for Gotham, for the city. And then he goes to go grab the mayor, and she's reluctant. And then the little kid from the beginning of the movie, the former mayor's son, is the first one to reach out and is like, you know what, I saw what you did. And then everyone now begins to follow. By the end of this movie, we see someone go from using fear to being an inspiration to the city. And I believe that is the strongest story the movie is trying to tell. That is one of the strongest stories the movie is trying to tell. And I 100%, I'm here for it. I am also here for the continuation of this movie. Again, like I said, I'm keeping this one short and sweet. Um, Oh, another thing is they don't call him Batman in this movie at all. He's not He's not Batman. He's Vengeance. That is what he takes on. That is the persona he takes on to be able to carry out his mission. And I 100% believe, because of how Vengeance was used and who was using Vengeance, and the thing with the Riddler, I 100% believe that when we get the sequel to this movie, he is going to change from that. I love this movie. It ranks really high in my Batman list of movies. There's, again, I did mention how I didn't like Bruce Wayne in this, right? But I look at it now and I'm saying to myself, you know, if I'm characterizing this movie as a growth, as a type of vehicle for growth, as something where characters grow and people grow and things change, then I should leave room for Bruce Wayne to also grow, right? So I may not have liked the Bruce Wayne presented to me, right? But I can see that there is room for the character to grow. There's room for growth. There's room for a lot of things. So I'm not as upset. I'm not as harsh or hard on the character as I was, prior. So I'll take it back. I think if there is growth in the next movie, then yes, then this works. I feel like if we go back to Batman Begins, to be honest, we're gonna see how Batman Begins is more appreciated when you get to the Dark Knight. You appreciate what the things Batman Begins set up, or certain things Batman Begins did to establish our character. I believe when the sequel to the Batman comes out, we're going to really, really appreciate this movie because there is a lot of setup in this movie for future projects. While this movie itself is contained, which I really like that it's contained, there is so much potential for growth, and there's so much potential, there's so much setup for sequels and sequel and other projects, which excites me a lot. So I'm very excited to see where this goes, and I want to see how this continues to go. I want to see how Matt Reeves continues to grow these characters. Is there anything else I want to spoil? I already told you Falcone dies, Riddler gets caught, he's in Arkham, we meet a version of the Joker. If it may not be the Joker, but we meet a version of the character. We hear the laugh. It's a little different from what we're used to, but it's there. Catwoman leaves to go to Bloodhaven, so they've mentioned that, and we might be getting something with her. There's rumors of a spin-off with her, or spin-offs, or TV series with her. The Penguin, biggest character growth. He goes from, if you watch the show Gotham, he goes from being that stooge, the gimp, as Falcone calls him, to maybe being the boss of Gotham. And that was an interesting way for the character to grow. And I'm very excited to see what they do with the HBO Max series for Colin Farrell. And I think, again, Colin Farrell shut the role down. Like, he is the Penguin. He's Oswald Cobblepot whenever, because they call him Oz a lot, not Oswald, so I'm excited to see, his growth into Gotham boss and controller of the underbelly of Gotham. I was blown away by this movie, 3-hour movie. I didn't necessarily feel like it was that long. I think, honestly, maybe the sequels aren't as long, because again, this movie is set up this probably is the setup movie, and that's why it was drawn out a little bit. I don't think the sequels are going to be that long. But again, this is a spoiler review. I'm waiting for Kyle to see it so Culture Geeks can come back and talk about it. Maybe we'll have Roy or Ray come and we talk about this movie. I'm excited to hear everyone's opinion on this. Again, if you have an opinion on the movie, comment section below. Let me know how you feel. This is a good month for us, right? Because we're getting this. We're getting Halo. We're getting Moon Knight. So a lot of things are coming. So I'm excited to see, again, where this movie goes. I'm excited for the rest of the month. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Don't forget to share it. I will catch you on the next one. Peace.
Police! Hands up! Stay still! Get out of here!
Fear is a tool. But when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning.
I've been trying to reach you. Burn the gun!
This is about a king, and Riddler's the match.
I can take care of myself.
If this continues, it won't be long before you've nothing left.
I don't care what happens to me.
It's only gonna get worse for you.
sweetheart. Hear everything they say, ain't you?
Maybe we're not so different. Who are you under there?
I'm vengeance.
What's black and blue and dead all over? You. Take cover.
I got you! I got you!